Fucking life's falling apart.
He's lying his ass off, and he's bored.
So let's get drunk.
I'm just a girl in front of a mic asking people to watch weird shit with me. Welcome to... Wait, what are you watching? Hey everyone, it's me, Elaine Cheney, host of the podcast Wait, What Are You Watching? It's a comedy podcast where I put guests in a chokehold and make them watch weird shit with me. And then I do the Vulcan neck pinch and make them review it with me on the show. And if you're like, oh, holy shit, where can I listen to this podcast? Good news, you're listening to it right now. It's very convenient. And with that very long intro, I'd like to introduce my guest co-host today, Carrie. Welcome to the show, Carrie.
Hey, Elaine. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you. Carrie and I used to work together at Smushed Asshole.
Smushed Asshole.
I loved Smushed Assholes.
Yeah, we miss you there.
I don't work there anymore, but Carrie does. Carrie, I've always thought that place would be great for a reality show.
Yes.
Do you still say that?
I still say that all the time. I feel like it could be like The Office.
Yes, it could.
Because you have to have the side interviews.
You have to have the side interviews and the takes on the different little mini dramas that go on.
Yeah, all the time.
Because by itself, a drama isn't big enough, but all of it put together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it just would be hilarious because out and about when we're doing our jobs, no one would know what it's like back in the facility.
Oh my God.
Everybody comes for lunch and everything like that, and all the little personalities, and it
would be a great reality show.
It'd be a great reality show.
Like right now, it's not as busy, quote unquote. And if anything, I think there's more drama.
Absolutely.
Now that
people have more time on their hands.
Right. People have more time and there's been more drama. So aside from that, before you came here, where are you originally from?
Okay, so this is I'll give you the Cliff Notes version of this. I'm originally from Ohio, went to Virginia, went to New York, then ended up in Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
And that's where I spent most of my time. Moved to California in 2008.
Yep.
Moved to Santa Rosa.
Oh, I thought you went straight from... Straight here?
No, not straight here. Went to Santa Rosa. Then we went to Portland, Oregon for 6 months. Then we went to Los Angeles for a year and a half.
Right, I remember you said that.
Before we ended up here in 2012.
What brought you here?
My husband's work.
Oh.
Yeah.
So when did you do... Because I know you did a whole, a road trip.
Yes.
On a bike.
Yes. That was in 2005.
Okay.
We did 10,500 miles, 21 states in 6 weeks.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
We knew after that trip that we wanted to move to California.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so cool. And you weren't married then?
Nope.
You got married here.
We got married here.
As I see from your pictures in your living room.
Yes. We got married here after being together for 10 and a half years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And where did you meet?
We met on the internet.
When it was what?
When it was not okay to tell people that you met on the internet. So
I can still see you're hesitant about it. That's how everybody meets now.
I know. It's like, it's this thing. But so we used to tell everybody that we met at the Detroit Electronic Music Festival. Which is the first weekend we ever hung out. And we did keep running into each other randomly there.
That's
But
funny.
back in the day, it's been almost 19 years.
Yeah.
You didn't tell people you met on the internet back then.
Yeah. That's so funny because now it's like that's how everybody meets. It's not a thing anymore.
I still hesitate.
I know. I was like, I saw you hesitate. It's no big deal. Everybody has a Hinge or a Tinder or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
Well, I mean, my meetup story isn't for the grandkids either. Like, where did you meet Grandpa? At a bar in Tijuana, Mexico. 2 hours after I broke up with my high school boyfriend. So,
but you're still together.
I know. It worked out. It was supposed to just be a fling.
Yep.
I was supposed to sow my wild oats.
That was me too. I had gotten out of a relationship and I was like, nothing serious. I'm finally going to be free and open and that lasted for 2 months.
It's like, damn it, I don't know how to do this.
Nope.
So the next section is something, before we get started on the documentary, it's going to be a section called The Probe. It's The Probe. Ow! Oh no, it's just questions. It has nothing to do with your butt. Stop bending over. You're making it weird.
Okay.
You're like, Okay.
I'm gonna hesitate again.
This is the part of the show where I ask you questions related to the unknown.
Okay.
So it's a fun little thing.
Yeah.
So if aliens came down and was like, hey girl, hey, listen, we need to do some experiments on you. We'll take you back. You won't be hurt. You know, we've done it with Elaine before. She seems okay, right?
Yeah, she seems great.
But they can only pay you in food. What kind of spread would they have to have in order for you to go in there?
Oh, geez.
Or what food would they
I
have
like
to?
all food.
Me too.
Can I eat unlimitedly?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, there's got to be sushi there.
Okay.
And especially uni, and some bone marrow. Some hamburgers, French fries.
Dude.
Basically, there doesn't need to be any sweets there. It's just anything savory.
Like you're a savory gal.
Lay's potato chips.
Oh.
What else? I mean, yes, a big steak, like a nice ribeye.
Yeah.
Medium rare, some mashed potatoes.
Dude.
Yeah.
So that's like, it's also kind of like your rider, right?
Yes.
Right? Is that what's on your rider? I always think about that. What do I want on my rider? Because me, like, if it was aliens, like, immediately, I swear I'm so easy. It's like orange chicken.
Oh, yeah, I'd like some orange chicken,
chow mein. Oh, I'm there. And then everything else is nice. But that's how to, like, lure me in.
It's just a hamburger.
Orange chicken.
They're like, we have this perfect hamburger. It's cooked medium rare with a side of fries. I'd be in there in a heartbeat.
You like deep dish pizza, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deep dish pizza. Did you try the Benny's yet?
I have.
Do you like it?
I do.
Okay.
I do. It's, to me, it's one of the first places around here that actually has really, really good pizza.
Yeah.
And that's the Detroit style, and they do a really, really good job.
I love a deep dish.
Yep.
Yeah. So I actually got, like, when it was really hard to get.
Yeah, that's when I did it.
Yeah. And I got in and I was like, I have a pizza. Couldn't even wait to go home.
Yeah, you eat it in the car.
Dude, I've gained so much weight this past 2020, 2021. Now that also I'm not at the castle doing laps.
Right.
Holy frick.
Yeah.
I need to stop. And I still think about food.
I did really good the first year of the pandemic because I lost like 30 pounds.
I remember that.
And then this past year, I'm like, whatever.
Fuck it.
Fuck everything. I'm eating cheeseburgers every night.
Right.
And
so what?
And so what? So now I'm trying to get back on that train again. But
I know, me too. Me too. Because it was just like, it got to the point where it's like right now, like when I'm sitting, I just feel like, ugh.
So I have on sweatpants.
No, seriously. I brought out my old loosey-goosey pants. I was like, this is bad. This used to like fall off me.
I know.
And now it fits perfectly.
You're like, oh, shit.
God damn it. So, okay, good. I'm glad I'm not alone in that. Because I was like, I have just eaten like garbage on top of garbage.
Well, and we just went back to Detroit. And it's like, I told my husband as I'm eating a cinnamon roll, I'm like, you know what? They just know how to do fat kid food out here. Way better than California.
Dude, yes, they do.
Yeah.
I mean, just the closer you get to the middle, because I go to Missouri and I know that they have this like pecan sweet roll that's as big as my motherfucking face. And I'm just like, oh, in my mouth, please. And they do. It's like the portions are just great.
Bigger.
A lot of butter.
Yeah.
You know?
Fried chicken. I just thought about that.
Jesus Christ. The alien is working overtime.
I know, they're like taking copious notes. They're like, just basically anything.
Right? A charcuterie board?
Sure.
Of appetizers?
Yes.
That's my charcuterie board of like fucking mozzarella sticks.
Some jalapeno poppers.
Jalapeno poppers. That's the charcuterie board that I want. All right. So let's get into this documentary, which you had suggested.
I did suggest it.
Go ahead.
So the reason why I suggested it is I listened to Tracy and Laurel with you on the podcast, and I was like, I got to do that. I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm driving home, and I'm like, what am I going to talk about?
Yeah.
And I don't even know why I'm getting off on Highway 1, and this popped in my head, and I'm like, oh my God, the Donald Crowhurst story.
Yeah.
And that was before I knew you were doing the documentary thing. And you texted me and you said, is there a documentary? And I said, oh, there is.
Oh my God. So I had never heard of this before. Yeah. So just for you listeners, the documentary is called Deep Water. It came out in 2007, directed by Luis Osmond and Jerry Rothwell. It's available for purchase or rental on Amazon Prime.
You can actually watch it for free
Where?
on YouTube.
Son of a bitch.
I should have told you that.
I know. I'm like, damn it, I wrote it. Damn, I didn't look, and usually I look it up on YouTube. Or you could watch it free on YouTube, you guys.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It was worth the $4, whatever the frick I paid.
Awesome.
The description is the remarkable true story of the first solo, nonstop, round-the-world boat race and the psychological toll it took on its competitors. Now, well, there's a lot to take in because, A, you probably didn't know this, but oceans are like one of my biggest fears.
Me too.
Okay, like open oceans, and that's why I think I'm fascinated with them. Like, for example, if there's ever a chance where the perfect storm is on, I will always stop and rewatch.
I love that movie.
I love that movie. Oh my God, the ending and just because I put myself in the situation, like, holy shit, like, what if that happened?
Right.
You know, like that one scene where it's Mark Wahlberg and it's just 12-foot waves, just buildings just crashing on him.
Yeah.
Like, what?
And that shit happens all the time.
Right. Fascinating. So I'm just like, oh my God. And I always think it's like testosterone driven sometimes. Because I just feel like women at some point would go, you know what? This is fucking stupid. Whereas like the perfect storm is like, I don't want to go back and I don't have enough fish. I'm going to keep going. Yeah. You know, I think women are like, you know what? Let's just count our losses and go.
We're just done.
I would. So this one in particular, though, it's nothing about fishing. It's a story of this guy or several men that go out on this challenge because it was like 1967.
1967 was the first guy that circumnavigated on a sailboat.
Right. And
he actually made a stop in Australia for 2 months to like repair his boat and all this kind of stuff. And so they decided to come up with this race where there was no stopping. You can't pick up supplies. You have to be on the water for the entire time.
Right. And so, and because when that guy came back, and exploring was big. Like, explorers were still like, oh my God, they were heroes.
And they don't have all the technology that we have today.
Because if you did that today, it's like big fucking whoop, dude.
Yeah.
And then there was the Panama Canal, so you could just cut through.
Yeah.
But 1967, there was no GPS, none of that shit. And I think it was Franchester Chinchester, I don't know his last name, but he did that world voyage, like you said, 9 months.
9 months.
33,000 miles on a sailboat, right?
On I think it's 30 or 40 foot sailboat.
Yeah, like
that's not big.
A dinky little thing. Yeah. And heroes welcomes, parades, and it's just like, okay, what's the next challenge?
Right.
And that was to go around the world. So as they start the documentary, Tilda Swinton is narrating. So right there, I'm like, okay, I know she's probably an alien, but I love Tilda Swinton.
She is.
She is. So yeah, so she's narrating it. So 1968, they're like thinking of this race. And basically, you know, these guys, I think it was like 9 guys.
There's 9 of them that started it. And there was this window that, like, they all didn't start at the exact same time.
Right. It wasn't that kind of race.
It was like, number 1, who's the first person to do it?
Yeah.
And then number 2, who's going to do it on the fastest time?
Yeah.
And it's interesting, and I think some people started, I think, in May or June.
Yeah.
But then they had to leave by Halloween. October 31st was like the deadline.
Right. Because at that time, if you didn't leave, the weather in Cape Horn, which was the south end, would have been too much.
Exactly.
So that's why they had to leave. Like you said, first man gets a Golden Globe. The fastest would get 5,000 pounds.
Which I looked up today's value.
Yeah.
It's like $53,000.
Okay. That's a
big
hell
chunk
of a
change.
Big chunk of change. So for the most part, the people that were participating were like experienced, proper seamen, right?
Yeah, like the one guy had already Bernard Mortissier. I love that guy. I can't wait to talk more about him.
Yeah.
He's this French guy, and he sailed around already with his wife.
Yeah.
And the other big deal about it was a solo race.
Right,
you didn't have anybody
with you. So
and
they were already like saying psychologically, it's not only going to be physically
taxing, it's psychological.
It's psychological because that's a lot of days by yourself looking at the horizon.
In the water, just bobbing up and down.
Fuck. Just the thought of it. So they were saying, like, a person could go crazy. They think, like, they could go crazy after 10 months of doing it just because of pure loneliness. So, but it's revving up. Everybody wants to do it. The one kind of, like, sticks out like a sore thumb is this guy, Don Crowhurst.
Yes.
And they interview him, and they mention that, like, how are you, like, psychologically? And it's just funny because they're almost kind of like already discounting him.
Yes.
Right? Because they don't know him.
They don't know him at all. And they also, they're like, oh, he's a weekend sailor. And,
right.
And
he is.
He's barely a weekend sailor.
Okay, so there are scenes of him on the boat, and he looks like an accountant.
Yes. And he just looks out of place.
Out of place. He looks unsteady on the boat.
Yes. And some of that, so... After I rewatched the documentary, I started, reading again and psychological and stuff like that. Yeah. And I watched this other shorter little documentary on it. And apparently, like, he didn't want to go and he broke down and cried the night before.
Right.
But he had to because he basically... So he built this boat, which he starts 4 months before October 31st.
Oh my God,
and he dumped his whole life into it.
Well...
And he mortgaged his house for it.
He mortgaged his house. The contract stated to this guy named Stanley Best, who didn't know anything about anything, but he had money, and he was interested in the race. He was like, if you, like, say, no, I can't do it, or get out of the race, not only are you going to owe me back the money I put in the boat, but your house is gone, your business is gone.
Yeah. Everything
is gone. So he's putting a lot on the line, but Don Crowhurst thought he could really do it because he was like thinking about it technically.
And I think that if he hadn't have been so rushed, he could have done it.
Yeah, I think so too, because I think he was really a smart guy. Yes. And and it sucks because it's like he was a smart guy, but like looking at his background, it seemed like he jumped around like a lot as jobs go. And I think that one of the reasons that he wanted to, like, do this was because he felt like he could do something more with his life.
And he also, I think that he saw, what's his name? Chichester or whatever.
Yeah.
The Fame and Fortune when he came back. And he's like, that's what I need.
And I can do that. Yeah. But I think, like you said, the time limit. And there was, like, and I was so worried. And you could tell, like, he had they were putting the camera on his wife. And her face was just like...
Because and she's even like, should I have talked him out of it? Should I? And, but she didn't.
Yeah.
And I
think she thought there was no talking him out of it.
Well, that's it too. And then Bernard Matissier, I wish I had written it down when I watched it.
Yeah.
Because it's in French and she's just basically like, it's a man. You can't tell him what to do.
Yeah. And they were saying like, they all have like the big dreams. You can't tell them not to go after their dream. Because think about that. If he did... say, okay, fine, I'm not going to go, it's always going to be in the back of his head.
I should have gone.
Yeah. Any problems with their bills? Oh, this could have been solved if I had gone. So it's a tough fucking position to be in.
Yes.
But also it's like, you have kids. Oh,
Four kids. A wife.
Yeah. My God.
And you don't really know how to sail.
Yeah, that's the big red flag. So not only that, right? Now you've got this dude, Rodney Hallworth. I called him the Colonel Tom Parker to, Crowhurst's Elvis. Because he saw the potential to make money out of Crowhurst because he was just this random guy. And he's like, fuck it. Let's just be like, dude, hometown boy, like the underdog.
Pomp and circumstance, underdog wins.
Rocky situation. So he became his press agent. And instead of Crowhurst starting off at Penzance, he started off at Tynemouth, I guess, which is 150 miles backwards because he's like, there's press there, there's hotels there, and the hotels can be booked. I mean, he was thinking in a money sense.
Money.
Right. And so he's promoting him as this dark horse of the sea.
Yes.
And that he was an experienced seaman, but again, weekend sailor, but everyone's fucking loved the idea.
Yeah.
And people started rooting for him, like, yeah, this guy can do it.
Yeah.
So he starts off right at October 31st.
So basically, he's so rushed to leave. He leaves on October 31st. He's actually not ready to go.
Yeah.
His computer that he had built, like, wasn't all connected yet. he had this fascinating device that was going to go on the boat. So it's a trimaran.
Oh, okay.
Which,
the
trimaran.
Trimaran, the boat.
And they're supposed to be they are really fast.
Yeah.
But when they tip over, they're next to impossible to tip back up.
Oh, I see.
So they had created this basically like blow-up device that would help right the boat that would sit on top of the mast.
Oh, and it wasn't
connected yet. And the hoses for the bilge pumps left him on the dock. Like, he left a whole bunch of shit on the dock when he left. Because he left what do you do? When you're leaving in a rush, you always leave stuff behind.
Yeah.
So if you're going to sail around the world in the sailboat, don't be rushed.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to leave anything behind.
Life hack, you guys.
Life hack.
If you're going to go sail around the world with no experience,
don't rush it.
Your boat, because the boat looked sturdy as hell.
It did look sturdy as hell, but it wasn't finished either.
Yeah. Oh my God. So he said the last day he was withdrawn and trembling because the boat wasn't ready. And he actually saw Stanley Best and Rodney Hallworth, who stood to make a lot of money from it. And he was like, the boat's not ready. They're like, nah, man, you gotta go. There's so much at stake. And he's like, you're gonna be... So it's like pride, ridicule, obligation. He fucking leaves. His family sees him off, and everybody's excited. And
his wife's not.
His wife is not. Shows her crying. It's funny because he still got his tie on.
Yeah. And he's got like the yellow
slacks.
pants on, and he's got his rain pants on, but he's like, what am I doing?
Right. You could just see, like, if somebody told me, if I didn't know anything about this story, this guy's gonna go out.
This is not going
I was like,
well.
dude, this is no. It's like, you don't need a spoiler alert. This is not gonna end well. Because even like before, like the other guys are like sea worn and like wiry and like guys, and he's just like doo doo doo.
Hey,
with his sweater vest.
Let's go out for a spot of tea before I go sail around the world in my sailboat. Also, do you need your taxes done?
I know, right? I'll do it on the boat. So he finally starts. Okay, and then he starts, and he has to turn back around because his sail fucking broke.
Yeah. He should have gotten his shit then.
Like, make a list, dude.
Yeah.
Check it off. Check it off. Like, whenever I go flying. So he finally starts. His boat's fucked up already. He sails over into the horizon. So I put here, Bernard, when they show shots of Bernard, he looks like a sailor, shirtless, pulling and cranking the sails. He's tan. He belongs there. He's been at sea for 2 months already.
Yeah.
And he sails at 120 miles a day.
Yes.
And he's closing in on the leader, which was Robin Knox Johnson. And Crowhurst was like beyond last.
I mean, like, he's maybe doing 50 miles a day.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that's because of the weather in November in the English Channel.
Yeah. He just, from the get-go, and he has a tape that they gave him, like a video camera.
Yep.
So on camera, he's like, everything's fine, blah, blah, blah. But then it's like on the logs, it really was fine. And it was saying November 7th, more screws had fallen out of the self-steering gear. The cockpit hatch was leaking. He said the bloody boat is falling to pieces.
Like, everything was leaking, and they didn't have a hose for his bilge pump.
Right. So he was taking a bucket and emptying it. And he's thinking, fuck, by the time he gets south, he's screwed. He can't go outside when the weather's shitty.
No.
So he's going to sink if he gets over there. But now he has this kind of like decision.
Right.
Like.
But he can't go back because then financial ruin, businesses, he's going to go back with his head between, tail between his legs and all this stuff. So he has to come up with another plan.
Yeah. And at this point, the Italian and another French dude, they're out. There's only 4 of them left.
Yes.
And it said progress for Crowhurst was slow.
Yes.
He was averaging 60 miles a day.
Yes.
Half of what the other sailors were averaging. And the boat he knew it was not going to stay afloat. If he kept going, it was basically suicide.
Well, yeah. And I mean, you read anything about what it's like to go across like South Africa, what is that, Good Hope?
Yeah.
And then also same thing with in Argentina. Like those are not safe passages.
Right. I mean, it was so shitty. Like that's partly why the Panama Canal
was built
because fuck all that noise in this. Yeah. So this is what he wrote. He said, time and money, he wrote. If one considers time only, the thing to do is turn back now. But money, this area is the most worrying. If I stop, I will disappoint a lot of people, Best and Hallworth. And if the whole thing goes sour, bankrupt and house sold, I would have Claire and the children still. What a bloody awful decision to chuck it in at this stage. What a bloody awful decision. I just was like, I was gonna cry for him.
I mean, you want to, but it's also like, dude, you put yourself in this situation.
Why would you risk your business and your house into something that you don't even know if you can do? Like a weekender boater.
Yeah.
I mean, he couldn't bring himself to come back. I'd have been like, so let's talk. Yeah. Can I put 5 on it? Like... We gotta be able to talk about some kind of loan I can pay you back.
Dude, here's the deal. I'm gonna die if I do this. So, like, can we, like, I don't know, work out a payment plan?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, payment plan, come on. But, you know, Crowhurst, the history of him, it's like his dad died, like, when he was 15. And so he's kind of always been, like, on the edge of financial disaster.
Yes.
So within that, he's thinking this. So he's like, okay, do I keep going and die? Do I go back and lose my money? Or
plan C. We're going with plan C.
So plan C, he basically starts another log.
Yes.
And he lies.
He fakes the fucking voyage.
He fakes the voyage and then tells, because he's been telegramming.
Yes.
And he tells him, my telegram doesn't work and I won't contact you. Right?
But he did send one thing out that the press got, because it said, like, he had his fastest voyage ever, and it was, like, 250 miles in a day.
I think that's when he started, like, I'm gonna fucking lie.
That's when he started to fucking lie.
Yeah. 243. And it was all over the papers.
Yeah.
They're like, holy shit.
Here comes Crowhurst.
It's like, he's setting a record.
Yeah.
He's a contender.
He's got this.
Right. Oh, my God. So he actually made it worse.
Yeah.
Because now people were like, he might be able to do it.
If he keeps that speed up,
he's going to catch up.
He could catch up.
But I think because in his head, okay, so let's get to that. Now let's go back to Montessier. He's 150 days in.
Yeah.
Tetley's 105 days in. Knox Johnson, 194.
Yes.
Crowhurst is 55 days at sea. Holy shit.
He's still 55 days at sea. It's
55 days at sea. And so he, like I said, he started reporting, like, exaggerating his progress.
Which takes a lot of work.
Fuck, yeah.
Like, he had to chart it all. He had to pay attention to weather reports.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he faked the logbook.
Imagine, that's a lot of stress, too.
Yes, because you can't fuck it up.
You can't fuck it up. And you always have to think, okay, but what if they say this? But what if this, like, you have to just be completely... Yeah. So I'm imagining he's not getting a good night's sleep.
No.
On top of just keeping the boat afloat.
Yeah.
So again, he can't pull out now. He was way behind, can't go back home. So his telegraphs and messages were now hard to decipher and rare.
Well, and they started, this is when he really starts to get kind of crazy.
Kind of loopy.
Yeah.
So he says, like, he's off Brazil almost into 40s. And then it said, now equal footing, mermaids stop. Generator hatch sealed, transmission when possible. Is it generator hatch sealed, transmissions when possible?
Yeah.
So now no messages.
No.
Right? So Cape Horn is the worst. Supposedly, they said, it's like if you were in a small truck and coming towards you is a 12-story high building.
Yeah.
That scene just freaks me out, right?
Yeah.
So Montessier starts to be like, he starts waxing poetic about it.
He's my favorite character.
The Great Cape. And I'm like, I wouldn't be so...
He finds yoga. And he's like doing yoga, like...
Like he gets really ethereal.
But he also gets depressed.
Like he writes down like how lonely he was. And so now it's February 7th, 1969. Donald's recording himself And he's saying that, like, he's putting on a brave face and blah, blah, blah. And he's drifting off the coast of South America. So here's what I don't understand. So I'm understanding the route. So he actually didn't go to the south.
No, he basically, like, starts heading south really slow. And then instead of going, like, off the coast of Africa, he hangs out off the coast of South America.
Got it.
Because his plan is, we left out this part of plan C, is he's going to hang out there in the ocean and wait for everybody else and then turn his boat around and come in behind him.
Slip in from behind, which actually, if you think about it,
brilliant.
It's actually really fucking brilliant.
It's brilliant, but it's brilliant if it's going to work.
On paper,
it
might work, okay? So, at the last week of February, his float splits, and he needs help. He's not where he's supposed to be.
Nope.
He's broken radio silence, and if he breaks radio silence, I mean, it would give away his true position. So he actually ends up. He establishes contact Rio Salado entrance. So he stops, which is
he's not supposed to stop
against the rules.
And apparently, there's a Coast Guard there, and he's in their log, but no one found out about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, he still could have gotten away with it.
He is still getting away with it.
Now, going back to Montessier, he's been alone for 6 months. He's starting to feel like he wasn't going to come back now.
Yeah.
Even though he was lonely and kind of wanted to return, his thoughts were, when he returns, there's going to be big-ass crowds.
And he doesn't want it.
He don't want it.
He doesn't want it.
His whole outlook changed.
Yes.
Basically, after being alone. Then they cut to Crowhurst drunk on camera.
Yeah.
So he's just like, fuck it.
Shit's falling apart. Fucking life's falling apart.
He's lying his ass off and he's bored.
So let's get drunk.
So that's when he's like, the plan was coming in quietly in last. Because people are not going to be interested in your logbooks if you're last.
Exactly.
Who gives a fuck?
No one's going to look at your shit.
No one's going to look.
You come in last. You get, hometown boy almost got it.
Right.
But that's right, he doesn't know how to sail, so I'll just come in last.
Right.
Yes.
So if you guys want to watch this documentary, this is where you stop. Because this is going to be a spoiler alert. We're going to tell you the ending.
Yeah. Stop right now.
Right now and watch this documentary.
Watch the documentary and then come back.
Come back. So what happens... So both of them are Montessier is having his own fucking psychological break.
Yes.
He's almost caught up with the leader.
I mean,
he's right there.
He's going, and then he's like, fuck this.
Going around the world again.
I'm going around the world again.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, what a badass.
I know.
He just turned around and said, nah.
Like he's like off the coast of Africa, like by the Faulkner Islands.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I don't want the money.
Yup.
I don't want the fame.
Yup.
I just want to be on my sailboat because this is where I'm at peace with myself.
Yup.
And so he fucking turns around.
He calls his wife and says...
No, he doesn't. He didn't even call her.
Oh,
he doesn't see her for fucking... Oh, he did. He did call her.
Telegram, right? Or something.
But he doesn't see her for 17 years.
Dude. Like...
And I Googled it because I was like, what happened to his wife? And it still shows that they're married.
He ended up in Tahiti, didn't he?
Yeah, so he goes around the world twice.
Fuck.
And then, like, once he starts getting close to South America, he goes, I've had enough.
Yeah.
And he just fucking turns north and goes to Tahiti. Insane.
So he said bye. So now the race is between 3 people.
Yes.
April 22nd, Robin Knox Johnson. He comes in the finish. He is officially the first man to sail the world nonstop. 312 fucking days.
Yeah.
He gets the Golden Globe trophy. He was averaging 92 miles a day, which was not enough for the fastest time.
Especially with the rate that everybody else will...
Supposedly.
One other person's doing, and then one other person says he's doing.
So the whole plan for Crowhurst was he was going to let Tetley come in, and then he was going to slip in last, right? But then... Suddenly, out of the blue...
Tetley's boat is also falling apart.
It's also falling apart.
And he hears that Crowhurst is 3 days behind him, and he's like, fuck, I gotta pedal to the metal on this thing.
And he sunk.
And his boat sinks.
Fuck!
Boat falls apart, and he sinks.
Dude, and I was thinking Crowhurst must be like,
oh, fuck.
Fuck!
Fuck!
Fuck! Fuck! I mean, he was right there. He was gonna win. And he, like, so now Crowhurst is not only gonna come in, he's gonna win and gonna win the 5,000 pounds because he's the fastest.
He was the fastest.
Fucking shit. And he's like, crappity crap, crap, crap. So apparently his radio transmitter started failing and he was like obsessed with fixing it so he could talk to his wife.
Yes.
At the time, the press was like, woo, he's coming in. 100,000 people expect to meet him. It was going to be insane. It was almost going to outdo, what's his name? Chichester?
Oh, Chichester.
Chichester. Hotels were booked. Everyone was in high spirits. And Tuesday, the 24th of June, Crowhurst turned away from England.
Like, he's like, nope. And he's like, okay, you know, like, I just imagine him, like, sailing, and he's, you know, he's rocking back and forth, and then he's, like, you know, he's by himself, he's been by himself for a long time, and he's starting to have these thoughts, and, like, he's probably playing it out in his head how it's gonna go over, and he's like, so then I'm gonna come in, everybody's gonna party their fucking head off, everyone's gonna be so happy, and then they're gonna look at my logbooks.
And they're gonna be like, something doesn't
smell.
Vibe.
And the Chichester guy already was like, there's something weird
about
was he? This. Yes.
Interesting. Yeah, so he basically
he's like,
he
fuck
just
this.
let his boat drift, and then he wrote. So he wrote in his logbook, right, when this was kind of, he already decided that he was going to go.
He's just drifting out at sea at this point.
Drifting out. So then this was in his logbook. He started another logbook called His Philosophy.
Yeah.
And this is a peek at where his head was. Okay, so here we go. The explanation of our troubles is that cosmic beings are playing games with us. Already red flag! During his lifetime, each man plays cosmic chess against the devil. God is playing with one set of rules, and the devil with exactly the opposite set of rules. The shameful secret of God, the trick he used because the truth would hurt too much, is that there is no good and evil, only truth. Do we go on clinging to the idea that God made us, or realize that it lies within us to make God? By learning to manipulate the space-time continuum, man will become God and disappear from the physical universe as we know it. I have become a second-generation cosmic being. I am conceived in the womb of nature in my own mind. In the womb of the universe, I was forced to admit that nature forces on cosmic beings the only sin they are capable of, the sin of concealment. It is a small sin for man to commit, but it's a terrible sin for a cosmic being. I am what I am, and I see the nature of my offense. I will only resign this game if you will agree that on the next occasion that this game is played, it will be played according to the rules that are devised by my great God. It is finished. It is the mercy. 11 hours, 15 minutes, no seconds. It is the end of my game. The truth has been revealed, and it has been done as my family require me to do it. 11 hours, 20 minutes, and 40 seconds. There is no reason for harmful. Boom, it stops.
Yep.
What the fuck?
So basically, at this point, he's so fucking gone, and there's just, like, people are like, well, we don't know what actually happened, and it's like, I don't think he fell off the boat.
No. This was intentional.
It was absolutely intentional.
I mean, we don't know about, what is he counting down when he says 11 hours, 15 minutes, no seconds? And also, I'm like, did he go crazy, or he was just so fucking enlightened? He's now saying,
I'm a cosmic being, and
I
lied.
And that's a crime against the universe.
Yeah.
It's not even just like, oh, fuck, I'm going to be shamed by human beings. He's now owning it to the universe.
Yes.
I mean, wow. Like the heavy...
It's super heavy.
Super heavy toll. Like, I felt terrible for him.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just go back.
You should...
You'll be fine.
Like, it's gonna suck.
It's gonna suck for a few months. But eventually, nobody was talking to him.
No.
It was him.
It was him talking to himself and him, you know, I mean, shit, if I were on a boat like that for that long and I got in my head, I'd probably be the same way.
Same thing. So it was almost like the opposite of what happened to Montessier, who was like, this is where I belong, da-da-da-da. He was just like, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And I fucked up to the universe. Ugh.
Gotta get out of here.
Gotta get out of here. So, his wife was, basically the way she found out they had found this boat was there were police cars in the front lawn. And they said the boat was found. He wasn't in it. A British cargo ship found the boat 700 miles from land in the Atlantic. And the boat was in fairly good condition. So they're like...
Apparently he was just weighing it down a little bit.
Yeah.
So once he got off, the boat was doing
fine.
okay.
That's all. You were the problem. You were the problem the whole time. So this is what pissed me off. The fucking press agent, Hallworth, saw logbook 1, logbook 2, and was like, oh shit, he lied. And he was like, we're not going to let this out. But his sketchy ass had already sold the logbooks to the newspaper.
Yep.
So not only is his wife and kids suffering because they lost, their dad and husband, now the humiliation is all on them.
Yes.
Because the paper is letting it out that Donald didn't sail around the world.
Yeah.
I was like, this is the worst thing ever.
But that's, human beings, man.
Fuck.
It's like, they're like, oh, well, I want to make a dime on this, and who gives a shit about this family?
I mean, and that Hallworth was all about the money initially. He didn't give a shit about him.
Nope.
Even when he was worried about his boat, he's like, not too bad.
Yeah.
Fucking go.
Go.
Oh, 150 miles out of your way because this is where the hotels are.
Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
So of the 9 men who set out, Robin Knox Johnson was the only one to finish.
He was.
And what a guy. He donated his 5,000 pounds cash prize to the Crowhurst family.
Yes.
Crowhurst family. Bernard Montessier ended his voyage in Tahiti. After 10 months at sea, he had sailed 45,000 miles.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Halfway around the world again.
Yes.
And then today, they still haven't found they never found Donald's body.
No.
And Donald Crowhurst's boat lies abandoned on the Caribbean island of Cayman Brac.
Yeah.
And his body was never found.
So they found that they had the boat, they took it and they fixed it up. And they used to use it for dive excursions and stuff.
What?
I know. I know. It lived in the Caribbean for
Is there nothing sacred?
No.
What the fuck? This guy committed suicide. There's a big history with this boat. And
Let's go snorkeling.
Let's go snorkeling in it. They put advertisements on the side. Are you serious?
I'm dead serious.
I thought they had just found it and put it in a place.
No.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I was just mouth agape this whole time.
Some guy lost his shit and basically deteriorated on this boat. But it still floats.
It's still floating. We can still make money off of it.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole time I was like, no, dude, don't go. And then you could see and then this is the worst because there's actual video footage of him before. You could literally see his face he was worried.
Yes.
He knew he shouldn't go. His wife never looked comfortable with it. And then when his kid, they were interviewing his kid, and he just started crying about the fact that his dad must have been out there just beating himself up.
Yes.
And fuck, I lost everything.
Yeah.
And now it's just this, it took on a whole other level. That was crazy.
And this was 51, 52 years ago, and his kids are, his son still does interviews and stuff like that, and just kind of talks about the heartbreak from it, because they actually just came out with a movie with Colin Firth back in 2017.
Right, because when I looked up the documentary, it came up like, wait, that's a movie.
That's a movie, and
it's about Donald?
It's about him. Oh. It's more of a psychological movie, not a sailing movie.
Yeah.
But they were kind of upset about it because it's just basically it's opening up all those old wounds again.
Yeah. And how can you ever go into the mind of somebody like that unless you're in the movie, or not in the movie, but unless you were on the boat with him?
Yeah.
Only Montessier could know
I think that
right? Really,
Knox Johnson.
Knox Johnson too.
Yeah,
I thought he was with somebody, but I guess not. Everybody was alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They can only like sailors who've done that can know exactly what kind of fuck up. I mean, just being alone, but on top of that, all the stress he had. The stress from the boat, the stress from lying, the stress from losing his family, now the stress from maybe I will commit suicide. Holy crap.
Yeah.
This poor guy.
I know.
I wasn't ready for this field trip, Carrie. Because usually I've had stories where, people disappear and oh my God.
I know, but this has so many, wait, what?
It's,
Bernard Mattissier, he's gonna come in second, and he's like, nope. Leaving, turns around. The other guy's boat sinks. It's the perfect storm.
It is the perfect storm. Because everything that could have gone wrong
to fuck up for Crowhurst,
it did.
It did.
And I just felt awful. And then just the psychological aspect of it, we really are social animals.
We are.
Nothing in our brain can be that alone. It's just a psychological fuck up because you're in your head now.
You're in your head, and also he is he's just getting kicked left and right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna head out on this boat race.
Yeah.
My boat sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna fake the boat race.
And that solves my problems.
And then it's all gonna be fixed. And then Morticia turns around. Okay, well then I'm gonna come in behind Tetley, and then his boat sinks. And then you're the only one left.
Damn.
It was just bam, bam, bam.
This poor guy.
But it was,
yeah.
It's a good story.
It's a great story. And just, again, the psychological aspect of it, I think for me was the trippiest.
Yeah.
Where your brain can go, completely unhinged. If there's nothing to anchor it into the outside reality. Because now, what is reality? When there's nobody outside of you telling you this is reality. Because you're in your head all the time.
All the time.
So that can be reality. And
it's your reality.
It's your reality. And nobody can point you to another perspective, really, because there's nobody on the boat.
Nobody on the boat.
Fuck that. Would you do it?
Nope.
No.
So my husband has this dream of getting a sailboat and living aboard a sailboat. And I'm always oh, it'd be cool. We've watched these YouTube documentaries of these couples that are traveling the world on sailboats, and I'm God, that looks fantastic. But I'm in reality, I don't think so.
No.
I don't like to leave Morro Bay on our little sailing kayak, for Christ's sake.
I would need a cruise ship because I need that stability. And even a cruise ship can look like a fucking toy boat when the waves get big.
Yes, we went on a cruise right before the pandemic. Yeah. And the last day of the cruise, we weren't even anywhere near the storm, but it was coming in to hit LA.
Yeah.
And the boat is just rocking. I'm doing this they can see my fucking kids. But we went up to the top and it was it dipped down and then came back up, and I was just this is a fucking boat full of 3,000 people.
It's a city.
It's a city.
And it's being tossed around like it's a toy.
Yeah. It was smooth.
Yeah,
but when you could see the horizon.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, the storm isn't even near you.
Yes. And the boat was a rockin'.
Man, no. I can't.
Don't come knocking.
Don't come knocking. I'll do road trips. I did jumping off of a plane.
Yeah.
It's scary safe. I like scary safe.
There's something about the ocean, man, that just scares the shit out of me.
We don't know just below you.
There's sharks in there.
There's sharks and God knows what, because we haven't explored any of the ocean.
Nope. And
what if you start fucking seeing mermaids and they're come in, it's fine.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Maybe that's what happened to Crowhurst.
Right, Donald's down here.
Yeah.
He's hanging.
He's dude, there's mermaids.
What happened? That cosmic, he thinks he's a cosmic being now.
And he broke the biggest rule and he lied. So he's got to leave. He's got to give himself as a sacrifice.
Yeah.
To maybe, take the sting off of his family.
God. At what point, if you were his wife, I think I would have stepped in before he took off.
I would have.
I would have been listen, here's your boat. here's what's not ready, and here's what's at
But it was
stake.
a different time. Yeah. You know, it was the 60s.
And the women kind of... Did you see they had the...
She was in her 30s.
Yeah.
You know, but like, and your man's going to go do this. So but I'm such a headstrong person. I'd be like, dude. like, yeah, we're going to be in financial ruin.
But like, you'll be alive.
But that boat's not ready. And...
Yeah.
Also, though, I would have been there with the list
and
made sure that all the shit was on the boat. So maybe I wouldn't have been as panicked because I've been like, well, at least I know he's ready.
Right. Because I think, like, there should have been something in the contract that said if the boat isn't ready, like, the boat would have to be at a certain condition and then, like, if you bow out. Yeah. But if the boat isn't, like, he should have had a lawyer.
Well, yeah.
I don't think a lawyer would have advised him to sign that fucking contract.
Well, that's exactly.
Because that's really what did him in.
Yeah. Is the contract and the fact that he had to do this.
He had to do it. Otherwise, it was like money out of his butt.
Yeah.
Great freaking documentary.
I'm glad you liked it.
Oh my God. I was sitting there like...
So you know, it's like when you find something that is fascinating and interesting, but you don't know how the other person is going to take it.
Yeah.
And that gives me anxiety. So like before you got here, I was like, oh God, what if she fucking thinks it's the stupidest thing she's ever seen?
Dude, no.
I mean, it's not.
It's not. It is a psychological... That part of me, I was just like, what must have been going on in his head?
Yeah.
That it went from like family man wanting to go on an adventure... cosmic being betraying the universe.
The biggest, like, fall from grace ever. And, like, the ego, his ego was so high.
Yeah.
And then he had to get on that boat and his ego was like, fuck. Dude.
Yeah. The ocean said, oh, you think you have an ego? Yeah. Guess what?
Yeah.
And really, I think that's where my heart went out to him. Because it was just like, fuck. In your head... It sounds like great and glory, but like fucking real life hit him in the face quick.
Yeah.
Before he even took off.
Before he ever took off. And I think he's just so prideful. Like, I don't know. I would have gone back.
I would have gone back. No, I would have gone back.
Yeah.
Between death and humiliation for a few months.
I'll take humiliation.
I'd be like, yeah, I couldn't do it. And we'll work out a payment plan.
Yeah. Look, everybody. It was a great idea. But it turns out... This is fucking stupid.
Right. Or I would have been like, listen, let's hash this out. Maybe, because like the boat was still...
Let's spin it into something else.
Correct.
Let's take the boat back. Let's fix it up. Let's make sure it's perfect.
Yeah.
And even though I'm not in this race,
let's try it again.
Let's try it again and go for the fastest
On our
time.
own.
On our own. Fuck!
Damn it, Donald! Talk to somebody, for Christ's sake. Don't go radio silent. All right. So many. I mean, it's hindsight, right?
Hindsight's 2020. Here we are 50 years later with the perfect plan. He wasn't even alive back then to tell him.
We weren't even a thought.
Nope.
Donald's at the bottom of the ocean, like, a little late, ladies.
Yeah, he's like, oh, come on!
What the fuck? That's a great idea! Oh my God. Anyways, Carrie, thank you for being on the show.
Absolutely. I
really fabulous documentary. The minute I stopped watching, I told my husband, I have this until the next day. You need to watch this.
Did he watch it?
He's going to watch it tonight.
Okay.
So I was like, you need to watch this. He's just like, all right. Because I was like, okay, this is what happened. I don't want to spoil it for you.
Yeah.
So it goes without saying that I recommend it for you guys too. Again, it's for free on YouTube. And it's just Deepwater, right?
It's called Deepwater.
It's just Deepwater. So the story of Donald, the sad, heartbreaking story of Donald Crowhurst.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
It's time for Comment and Review Highlights. You write and you review, and I read it on the show right now. Today on Comment and Review Highlights, I have a really creepy story shared by Instagram user Andrew Peach. Now, a long time ago, I posted something about a strange, I don't know what, was walking in front of a Ring camera. Seems like that's very popular now, strange things being caught on the Ring camera. Well, Andrew's dad captured something that apparently they don't know what it was. Didn't seem like it was a person. So let's see what he says. My dad has a video like this as well from his Ring cams. He was walking down his driveway and someone followed him all the way to his house and disappeared. Very creepy. It wasn't like a person pulling a prank with my dad or anything. You could hear on the recording my dad say, "Cold out for a summer heat wave." Then he keeps walking. And I hear him say, "Who's been smoking cigars on the property?" And you see this person walking behind him. It's also like this dusty cloud and streaks on the camera. It was very transparent too, almost like someone overlaid the video, but that couldn't have happened because my dad gave me the direct IP address link to his security camera. And I should also add that my dad's an engineer and a man of science and thinks spirituality is nonsense. So when he starts questioning, you know something's up. Thank you so much, Andrew Peach, for sharing. For some reason, whatever gets caught in the security camera looks like 10 times creepier than when you see it on a regular, video phone. If you guys want to be featured on Comment and Review Highlights, don't forget to comment on any of my social media platforms. Or what would be very nice is if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget, you can now rate on Spotify. So don't forget to do that as well. Thank you so much, guys. I will see you next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Wait, What Are You Watching? This podcast was produced, edited, researched, and hosted by me, Elaine Cheney. I would really appreciate it if you could help me continue to create and grow by subscribing, rating, and reviewing the show on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. See you next week.